fool me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
Jack,
Never let go.
don't let go, Jack.
Never let go.
There's not enough space on my giant door.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. My name is Eric.
It's Sean.
What's up, guys? Jorge.
Tonight we're doing the Titanic myth and legends.
Ba, ba, ba.
Everybody knows the story of the Titanic.
From watching the movie Titanic.
Yeah, thanks to Mr.
Yeah.
Cameron.
And DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And Kate Winslet.
You know, there is the story of the Titanic as a whole, this is not necessarily a history podcast, but at the same time, there are a bunch of myths, legends, conspiracies, etc. about the Titanic that I thought would be a cool episode.
Indeed.
Let's do it.
So we'll do a quick little, what happened, for those people who've been living on, the moon.
True. Or the people that were living on the fake moon.
Yeah. Or
and
those
Universal Studios.
those who are from Mexico, maybe.
Hey, even Mexico, we found out.
Yeah.
Yes. Or can attest.
So March 31st, 1909, the construction.
Long ass time ago.
Yeah, over 100 years.
That's crazy.
The construction of the Titanic began with the building of the keel, which is the backbone of the ship, at a shipyard called Harland and Wolff's. And that's in Belfast, Ireland.
Ireland. The Republican Army.
Ireland is fucking
For the rest of the show, you got to do it in Irish accent.
Oh, no.
And then the ship was built.
My Irish family hates my accent. It's the worst.
That's true.
They think it's
Because it sucks.
Yep.
Sorry.
No so that's when they started construction on the Titanic, and it was delayed multiple times. Remember that. Write that down.
Multiple times
Write
delayed.
that down. It was delayed multiple times.
It's in the memory.
Noted.
Yep. So that was 1909. Then fast forward to May 31st, 1911. The unfinished Titanic is lathered.
Lathered it up.
Lathered up with soap and pushed into the water for fitting out. Fitting out is where you install all the extras. Some on the exterior, like the smokestacks, the propellers.
Just to make sure it's got to fucking float before you put all that shit on it.
Yeah, exactly. But they put like the electrical systems in, the wall coverings, the furniture, etc.
Okay, so it's all like it's the aesthetics.
It's the frame.
It's the aesthetic
and
shit.
Yeah.
So
like
the bedding.
The bones.
Yeah. So obviously, aside from the name, it was called the Titanic. I mean, the Titanic. It was big, huge,
like a
massive Titan, the biggest thing on the water. Just to give you an idea of how big it was, the length of the Titanic was 269 meters.
That's fucking big.
Yeah,
Here we go again with meters.
That's like a super yacht, baby.
What-
It's like a giant
did that
super
translate
yacht.
to?
By the
USA.
way, in Mexico, what do they do?
Everybody except the U.S. uses meters.
So in
Metric.
Mexico, they do.
Yeah.
They do meters.
Metric.
Oh, but you were like fuck that.
But you don't know it.
No.
You don't know.
Well, I mean, technically you grew up in Texas, so.
So
Yeah, I'm from over here.
That's USA, baby.
Was it South Texas, by the way?
South Texas.
Yeah, South
Yep.
Texas. All right. So that's 882 feet. Sorry. The width, the beam of the ship is the width of the ship is 92 feet.
Damn, that's fucking Dude, that's
Titanic.
That's Titanic.
That's
I
Titanic.
like what you did right there.
So 104 feet is the Titanic's height, measured from the top of the bridge to the keel.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like
So there
top
are,
to bottom.
and then
Fucking
just
massive.
to give you an idea, there are 9 decks.
Wow.
Damn.
So 9 levels.
Well, you gotta think 100
Yeah.
feet. 100 feet's like it's close to 10 stories.
True.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
each a story is what like 12 to 15 feet.
Yeah.
So.
So it's
And
big.
It's a cruise ship. I mean, it's
Yeah,
huge.
it's like the first Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
Like,
46,328 tons.
Wow.
I
That's how
mean,
big it
that's
was.
like
Yeah. Keep in mind, this
it's
is
like a fucking
19.
asteroid.
This is 1911.
I mean, there was like Model Ts
I
and
know,
shit back
right?
then. Like,
This is like this actually helps my argument with the Egyptians building the pyramids.
yeah, except that
they
was like
it's
No.
That was-
amazing what man can do.
yeah, except for that was thousands of years
Well,
ago.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, tit for tat.
Okay, what? Like, get the fuck out of here.
So
You realize that the weight of the pyramid is like it's like 600 million tons.
yeah, but it's not floating on water.
It's floating on land.
Well, it's not. Yeah, ish. You know.
Ish.
So 46,328 tons. Just to give you an idea, it had a sister ship named the Olympic. And
More on that later.
Yeah, more on that later.
we'll get into
Definitely
that.
big time. But just to give you an idea, the Titanic was 1,300 tons bigger than the Olympic. Just to give you an idea.
I mean, no one could probably like discern that from looking at it.
Yeah.
You're like, that ship weighs 1,300 tons more.
Now, this was an interesting fact. The largest room in the Titanic was 92 by 110 feet.
That's a penthouse
Okay.
suite.
Yeah.
That's the largest room. That's not very big.
I mean, 92 by what?
114. feet.
That's pretty big, bro.
Is
Big.
it?
Are you kidding me? Have you ever been on a cruise ship?
No.
It's like 12 by fucking
Same here.
16. It's not
12,
big.
but yeah.
And
So 194 is big.
imagine like your regular
Wait,
room
is this
times
like
10.
Are you saying like a room where you sleep, or just like a room?
Just
like,
a room, the biggest
It's
room.
probably like their.
I mean,
I don't know,
let's
ballroom
just
or
do the
the-
math. Let's just
Yeah.
do the math.
So June 14th, 1911, the RMS Olympic departs on its maiden voyage.
Oh, the Olympics. The sister
The
ship.
Olympic.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a year. A year later, April 2nd, 1912, the Titanic leaves dock for her sea trials.
Oh, so they're still in Belfast, and they're like, "Is this bitch gonna last?"
So that's test of speed, turns, emergency stops, etc. So that's really only one day. They
Yeah,
only do
just
one
like-
day of tests.
Yeah,
You know, fuck
because
it.
that's enough for
I
a
know.
thing that's gonna be on the ocean for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Like-
At about 8 p.m. after the sea trials, the Titanic heads to Southampton, England. Yep. So April 3rd to the 10th, which is another week later, the Titanic is loaded with supplies and the crew is hired. So April 10th from 9:30 until 11:30, passengers then board the ship. They were really on a deadline.
I mean,
Literally,
there was
they
like
hired
no.
the motherfuckers, and then the next fucking Monday.
Dude, this is like a pay-per-view. They sold the tickets and shit.
That's
Pre-
right.
like, they're like, look, we don't even know if it's ready for sea, but
That's right.
like, you're buying.
So the passengers board the ship. Then at noon, the Titanic leaves the dock for its maiden voyage. And this is when Jack and Leonardo DiCaprio is winning the ticket
Well,
in
Jack
the poker game.
is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I mean,
Same.
the first stop is Cherbourg, France, where the Titanic arrives at 6:30 p.m. and leaves at 8:10. It's only there for a little bit. Heads to Queenstown, Ireland, now known as Cobb.
Nice.
Okay, April 11th, which is the next day at 1:30, the Titanic leaves Queenstown and heads across the Atlantic for a little place called New York City.
It's a little pizza and baseball, baby.
Bagel.
Bagels. Fuck yeah.
April 12th to the 13th, the Titanic goes on her journey as passengers enjoy their life as luxurious on the biggest ocean liner on Earth.
And it was also
So
it
they
was,
go to New York and pick up more passengers?
No. So they've left Queenstown to head across the Atlantic.
to them.
But for the first 2 days, that's the point, is the first 2 days, it was like, you know, and like living the dream.
living it. They were
Yeah,
killing
living
it.
the dream.
And
you
let's
know.
let it be known, the ship was built like a fucking howitzer. Like, I mean,
It's huge.
but it's built like a brick shit house. Like, it was meant to last. Like, you could just like hit that shit with a missile, and it's like totally fine.
And so for some reason, and this is I read this many places. It in the press it became known as the unsinkable ship.
Yes.
Now the White Star Line or the Star Line, they said they never said that. Like later on, obviously after they
they're like,
sunk.
we're not liars.
After it sunk,
After
they,
it sunk,
they
like,
said no, we never
like,
said that that term.
Misquote.
We never put the quotes on it.
Yeah.
So that wasn't us.
But for whatever reason, the press latched onto that, and it was like a viral word.
Yeah, viral
You
back
know,
in the
it's
back,
some fucking shit.
Viral back in the 10s.
Yeah.
The 1910s.
Yeah. So fast forward a little bit to April 14th, 1912. And we'll start off in the morning. Captain Edward J. Smith canceled a lifeboat drill.
What a dick. The fucking asshole.
So 5:50. Yeah, we're good.
Canceled. He's like, I'm hungover.
We're good. So
I'm
at
not doing
5:50 p.m., after receiving iceberg warnings throughout the day, Captain Smith changes the Titanic's course, heading slightly south. However, he does not slow her down.
This is like, man, there's like already mad red flags. It's like no lifeboat warning. They're like iceberg warning. It's like it's like you're about to like take a flight and they're like, there's a hurricane happening right now. Like,
Well, keep in mind,
there's
though,
a change of
It's all
course.
good.
keep in mind they're going through an area that is always iceberg.
That's true.
It's like,
They're
the
when you're
iceberg
going-
could be like the size of our cooler right here, So we're at 5:50 p.m. So fast forward to 9:20 p.m. 9:20 now. Captain Smith retires to his room. Okay. Then another ship, the Mesaba, sends a warning to the Titanic about an ice field that includes heavy pack ice and a great number of large icebergs.
All right.
Wireless operator Jack Phillips, who works for the Marconi Company, is handling passenger messages and never passes the warning on to the bridge.
Dude, it's just like, man. Like
9:40. That's 9:40 p.m.
They hired a bunch of fucking shitheads.
Yeah. So the shift changes on the bridge, right? With First Officer William Murdoch relieving the second officer, Charles Lightoller, which is a fucking rad name. by the way.
Lightoller. He sounds like a Jedi.
My name is Charles Lightoller.
Seriously sounds like Emperor.
As the officer of the watch. So Murdoch relieved second officer Charles, okay? So lookouts Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee begin their watch in the Titanic's crow's nest. The night is unusually calm, making icebergs actually difficult to see because there are no waves breaking at the iceberg. So if it's extremely
they can
calm,
see like the white caps
yes,
like hit.
they
like,
go pop, 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 pop.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's also
adding-
like pitch black. And I don't know if you've ever been at sea
yeah.
at night. It's like fucking, it's like you're in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like
it's
pure
the
black.
blackest of all black.
Like there's
Yeah.
no light.
So adding to the problem is the crow's nest, and this is absolutely absurd to me. The crow's nest misplaced there by binoculars.
Dude, this is like.
What's a crow's nest?
That's that's like the thing at
Okay,
the very
it's
top. That's
the
like
bridge.
the lookout.
Like the people there.
no, it's a
So the
lookout.
bridge is where the captain is,
okay,
and
okay.
where like the wheel is, and
Right. The crow's
everything.
nest is the one all the way at the top.
Because at the very
guy's
top
looking
is
out.
of the best. Their job is to basically just watch everything that's happening.
Right.
That's why they
Yeah.
call it the crow's nest, because the crow will make its nest up high so it can see any
Yeah.
predatory. It can just like see
Makes
everything
sense.
in its area.
Yeah. So like of all the things that you would want in the crow's nest, it would be binoculars. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like of all things,
I know, it's like-
that's what you need.
The Uber driver
Is-
forgot his car and like showed up at your house.
It's absolutely
Shit.
absurd.
Like,
So, but all the information says is that they just misplaced them. The
Okay.
binoculars.
okay,
I mean-
I would love to know who gave this intel. Because this ship is on sea and it's at the like. How the fuck they know where they misplaced it? It's at the bottom of the ocean.
I know.
I would love to know who recorded this.
Yeah. So at 10:55 p.m., a ship that was nearby called the Californian radioed the Titanic, and they said, "Say, old man, we are stopped and surrounded by ice." An annoyed Phillips responded with, "Shut up. Shut up. I am busy. I am working cape race." which is a wireless station located at Cape Race, Newfoundland, Canada.
I don't understand what just happened. He's working a
Like
wireless.
he's talking to them.
He's talking to them. He's in the middle of something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. 11:35 p.m. The wireless operator of the Californian turns off his radio because he's going to bed. Fleet sees an iceberg in the Titanic's path and rings the bell 3 times to indicate that something is ahead.
Iceberg.
Iceberg.
Yes.
Iceberg ahead.
He then calls the bridge.
And they're like all passed out.
Murdoch orders the Titanic hard to starboard, which means to the left, right? And then the engine's reversed. So he says hard to starboard, and the engine's reversed.
Yeah, full reverse. Like let's get this bitch stopped.
He also closes the doors to what is known as the watertight compartments, which are underneath. Right? Okay, good. So 11:40 p.m., 5 minutes later, the starboard side of the Titanic scrapes along the iceberg. Captain Smith then arrives on deck and is told that the ship has struck an iceberg. Shortly thereafter, he is informed that the mailroom is filling with water. Other reports soon come in of water at least 5 of the ship's compartments,
Oh shit.
which is essentially about half,
You're fucked.
right? The designer of the ship, his name is Thomas Andrews. He surveyed the damage, and the Titanic was built to remain afloat with only 4 of those compartments flooded. Andrews predicts then that the ship has only about 1 to 2 hours before it will sink.
Oh, yeah, there's like they can't.
like it's going down.
It's like too much weight, and then like dude, you're fucked. Like,
Yeah.
So then we cross over into midnight, which is April 15th.
Dude, the fucking witching hour.
So the lifeboats begin to be readied for launch. The 20 boats have space for only 1,178 of the passengers, of which on board are 2,200 passengers.
Genius. We're only
Right?
gonna have lifeboat capacity for half the motherfuckers. Fucking idiots.
So an order is given for women and children to board first, with crewmen to row and guide the boats. So there's probably like 2 crewmen per boat, and then women and children, and then
Yeah, so it's like if you're on crew, you're like, yes.
yeah. As far as who gave that order, nobody really knows.
A good dude. It's a smart play.
Yeah, it's probably Smith.
Yeah,
Right? Or Murdoch,
Yeah, like
or
save
one of
We
them.
got to save
Yeah,
the
one of
women
them
and
did.
children, bro.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
So then Captain Smith orders Phillips and Harold Bride to send out a distress signal. Although SOS became the official distress signal years later, many used at that time something called CQD.
What does
So
that mean?
CQ.
Currently, fuck.
Yeah, so at
We're
that
currently
time,
fucked.
Yeah,
Send somebody.
it's basically SOS. It's basically SOS. So
Yeah.
CQ actually meant like a general call for anybody.
Okay, call query. Fucking,
Something like that, yeah.
Like distress.
And then D meant distress.
Yeah, call query
Captain
distress.
Sean.
Yes.
Yeah. Fucking.
So over the next several hours, Phillips will send out both alerts, basically. The Frankfurt is among the first to respond, and that's a ship, but the liner is 170 nautical miles away.
Dude, you're fucked.
To the south.
You'll never make it in time.
Other ships also offer assistance, including Titanic's sister ship, the Olympic,
Oh, just happened to be in the area.
but also too far away, the Olympic. The Carpathia receives a distress signal from the Titanic, and it says, "Come at once, we have struck a berg. It's a CQD, old man." That's what it says. The Cunard liner immediately changes course to aid this ship some 58 miles away. It will take the Carpathia 3 hours to arrive.
Wow.
4th Officer Joseph Boxhall, tasked with determining the Titanic's position, revises the coordinates. The location is now given as 41, 46, 50, 14 in the distress signals. Passengers waiting to enter lifeboats are entertained by the Titanic's musicians, who initially play in the first class lounge before eventually moving to the ship's decks.
It's a classic contain the madness.
So sources differ on how long they performed, but most basically say that it was until they went down. None of the musicians that were doing it survived.
Sucks.
All right, so 12:45 at night now.
Shit's ticking by.
Okay, number 7 on the starboard side is the first lifeboat that's lowered down. It carries 27 people, even though it has room for 65.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. That was the
Only got
first
room for the
lifeboat.
1%ers.
I mean, you're kind of like
It's
frantically.
like rich only.
No, I mean, I'm assuming it's like you're frantic and you kind of just like get all crazy.
launch it,
Josh, go, 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 go. You know, like that whole thing. I'm guessing many of the first lifeboats will be launched well below capacity, partially because of the crewmen's worry that the divots would be unable to hold a fully loaded lifeboat. I don't know why they were worried about that.
Well, because they didn't do the lifeboat check.
Yep.
Yes, they
Before
didn't do the
they
drills.
didn't do the drills. They're like, uh-oh, these pulley systems are looking a little sketch.
In addition, a majority of the passengers thought the Titanic was unsinkable.
So they're like, why do we have lifeboats?
So they're like, literally, I don't want to be the first lifeboat out of here.
You're fucked.
Literally, I'm going to be on the ocean while homies are like sipping champagne in the violin playing. You know what I mean? So I'm, anyways. So
it's also like these lifeboats are for show. They're actually not real
that's right.
lifeboats.
So Titanic fires the first of 8 distress rockets, of which they thought they were like fireworks, basically.
Someone can see them. They're like,
Yeah. So apparently the other ships that didn't know that was happening, they just saw fireworks and they're like, yeah,
Party. It's a party.
they're like, wish I was on the fucking Titanic.
Rager Titanic going on. Yeah.
It's
Anyways,
so sad.
crewmen aboard the Californian see the rockets but failed to determine their source. They thought it was the Titanic. The Californian will later be believed to be about 20 miles away.
Jesus.
Although there was, per a couple of reports, a mystery ship that just never
It's like
came.
the Black Pearl.
Well, some thought
The
it was.
Olympic.
Yeah,
The
well,
Olympic.
here's one theory: is that the ship was a Norwegian fishing vessel that was illegally hunting.
Oh, so they're like, I don't see anything.
So they're like, well,
I see nothing
we're
here."
not going to do a rescue mission and then just go to jail.
Are they like clubbing seals
Yeah,
and shit?
exactly. So 12:55 a.m. Number 5 is the second lifeboat leaving the Titanic. As it's lowered, 2 male passengers jump into the boat, injuring one of the females. Number 6 is launched, containing Molly Brown. She was
Who's that?
she's like a famous person. She was like new Texas oil money. She was considered the unsinkable Molly Brown because she was the one who was like, go back for more. You know, different things like that. She's just like a famous little story in the Titanic.
Okay.
Also, the lookout guy who had no binoculars, he was in that boat. So
Oh,
he
shit.
He
jumped
got
in
out
there.
Damn.
on the slide.
Yeah.
So we're past the women and children only.
I mean,
This is the
it's
second
almost
boat.
1 a.m.
Yeah.
I know. It's almost 1 a.m., but
But this is like the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like
Totally.
only the fittest survive in this,
Yeah.
at this point. Like,
so number 3 is lowered at 1 a.m. It carries 39 people.
Jesus, another under.
12 of those people were crew members. Okay. Water is seen at the base of the grand staircase at this point. So, you know, water is really coming in.
Yeah, Rose was like
Basically.
raging in there. It's like-
1:10 a.m. Number 8 is among the first lifeboats lowered on the port side. It's launched with only 28 people. Isidore and Ida Strauss, a very famous couple.
They sound rich.
They were offered seats in the boat. However, they refused to disobey the order of women and children first. Ida, in turn, will not leave her husband's side, reportedly saying, where you go, I go. Neither of them survived.
Dude, that's a ride or die right there.
Yeah. 1:20 a.m., number 10 is launched. Among the occupants is 9-week-old Milavina Dean, who will become the last survivor of the Titanic.
Oh.
She died in 2009 at the age of 97. So
Oh,
there
damn,
are no more.
She lived a good life.
Yeah, there are no more people who were on. The
Oh, they're all
Titanic.
dead.
They're all died. She was the last one.
Yeah.
The Olympic radios the Titanic at 1:25, and it seems like they didn't realize like the magnitude of the situation.
Oh, they thought the distress signals were like a joke?
I guess they just didn't really get it.
It's like prank
So
calls
the
in
Olympic-
1912.
So the Olympic says, "Are you steering southerly to meet us?" at 1:25 a.m.
They're like,
Bitch,
no,
there ain't
bitch.
no steering going on.
We hit a fucking
no,
sinking.
like, dude, like we're out.
We hit a continent of ice, and like we're fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
So the Titanic responded. The radio guys responded saying, "We are putting the women in the boats."
why can't they be more specific? We're fucked. We're sinking, bro.
Well, this is like,
oh, like Morse
yeah,
code.
yeah. Well, no, not Morse code, but
That's what we
That's
call
Morse
Morse code.
But no, there's
Yeah.
a word.
Yeah, it's called Morse code. It's
Telex? No, it's
No, it's Morse code. Is what the word is. They weren't
FaceTime.
they weren't texting back then.
Fucking live streaming.
I know, like you hit them. It was actually Instagram Messenger.
So. Also, at that time, number 12 boat is lowered half full.
Dude, they suck. Like you know, like this crew is just super,
chaos, though.
super inept.
It's chaos. The boat's going down.
No, I understand, but like you
Yeah,
can
but-
see that there's like a lot of space left. If you could fit 60 people and there's
Exactly.
30 people on the boat, like
Yeah.
you can see that more people can go on the boat.
At 1:30, things are getting real cray-cray.
Oh yeah.
Several male passengers try to board number 14, causing the officer Harold Lowe to fire his gun 3 times. He's later placed in command of the boat. After the sinking of the Titanic, Lowe will transfer people into lifeboats 4, 10, and 12 in collapsible D so he can return later to look for survivors.
Oh.
His boat is basically the one that went and saved about 4 or 5 other people.
Oh, that's good. Hey, good guy.
Number 13 is launched and soon followed by 15, which holds many of the. Now we're starting to get into third class passengers.
Yeah, like the scrubs.
Yeah, they start getting into the boats. 13 and 15, 135. 16 is launched. For whatever reason, at 1:45 a.m., number 11 is lowered. Number 4 is finally ready for launch, which is the Astor family. The Astor family are the wealthy ones. Have you ever heard of John Jacob Astor?
I think so, but
Very wealthy individual, one of the richest people on earth.
oh, that was the guy. Okay, yeah, he was like one of like the 1910s. Like, you're like so like a fucking trillionaire. Like
Which is one of the one of the conspiracy theories on that is the passengers that were on there. We haven't even gotten into that yet.
oh yeah, we're gonna get into that.
So at the time, John Jacob Astor was worth roughly $87 million, which in today's standards, that's $2.5 billion.
Yeah, but like back then, like nobody had like you were like top like 0.3% of like the universe.
So he went down though eventually with the ship. So he died. So anyways, they had a chance to get into the boat, but they didn't.
Why didn't they do it?
Because Second Officer Lightoller told them women and children only.
Yeah, yet there's like hella dudes like in all
But
the boats.
Astor never really pressed the issue, and he just walked away. Apparently,
He's probably so he was like, yeah, whatever. I'm fucking. I lived it. Like
Yeah, I'm
fuck
out.
it. Like he's like,
So-
I owe a lot of money in taxes.
So 2 a.m. 2 a.m. only lifeboats that remain on the Titanic are 3 collapsible boats. The Titanic's bow has sunk low enough that the stern's propellers are nearly visible outside of the water.
Yeah, so that's when that's before it breaks in half.
Yeah.
Like because it's the weight is just gonna snap that shit like a twig.
Yeah. So at 2:17 a.m., Phillips sends the final distress signal. He reportedly makes it to the overturned collapsible lifeboat B, but succumbs to exposure. His body was never found.
Oh, so you got like cold and that fucking
He's
frigid Arctic water.
Yeah.
He's like toast.
So at 2:18 a.m., the lights go out.
oh fuck that
Damn.
guy. Then
That's
it's like
dark.
Then it's
Shit's getting real.
pure.
Can you
chaos.
imagine that?
It's pure
Oh my
chaos. You're in
Honestly,
pitch
that
black,
sounds horrible.
freezing water.
Horrible.
Dude, it's like a nightmare.
As the Titanic's bow continues to sink, the stern rises higher out of the water, placing great strain on the midsection, and the ship snaps into 2. And reportedly later on, it was said that it took 6 minutes for it to fully crack and reach the bottom.
So it's just like, and like you can just hear. You imagine like being on the boat and you hear that like the fucking stress break, like,
Dude.
oh god,
Terrifying.
and you're at like a fucking 70-degree angle at that time. Like you're just like, dude.
So the stern at 2:20 a.m., the stern disappears into the ocean. The Titanic disappears. Hundreds of people are in the freezing cold water. Although there is room in most of the lifeboats, crewmen are fearful that the boats will be swamped. So several of the boats eventually return, but hours later, so it's too late.
Damn.
That was a calculated move.
Yeah.
They didn't want anybody else on those
Over the
boats,
next
right?
several hours, numerous ships try to contact the Titanic, but obviously it's at the bottom of the ocean at this point. The Burma's wireless operator sends a message saying, steaming full speed ahead to you shall arrive to you at 6 a.m. I hope you are safe.
And what time is it right now?
2:20.
It's all right, dude. Just hold out for another 4 hours.
So at 3:30 a.m., which is another hour and 10 minutes later, the Carpathia arrives in the area and they start firing rockets. Number 2 lifeboat is the first to reach Carpathia at 4:10 a.m.
I wish I was on that boat. Jesus.
So it's going to take a few hours for the ship to actually pick up the survivors. Ismay, who's the designer of the ship, or not the designer, but the head of Starline, basically, he writes a message to be sent to the White Star Line office saying, deeply regret, advise you Titanic sank this morning, 15th, after collision iceberg, resulting serious loss. Further particulars later. 8:30 a.m., the Californian, which at approximately 5:30 a.m. learned of the Titanic sinking, they arrive. So 3 hours later. It searches the area for several hours, but fails to find any survivors.
Fuck.
At 8:50 a.m., the Carpathia, carrying 705 Titanic survivors, heads to New York City, which will arrive on April 15th.
Dude. Fuck.
And that's the story of the Titanic. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to reach out to us, please email us at info@theconspiracypodcast.com or on Instagram @theconspiracypod. We'd love to hear from you. We love show ideas, corrections, hate mail. Above all, the most important thing you can do to support our show is leave a review. That's how this show keeps going, is by reviews from you guys. Thanks a bunch.